Hi guys, first thing I gotta let you know is I am not a professional YouTuber. I just felt that there was a need to get this information out there, so I'm gonna be the one doing it. Hopefully you'll believe me. I know there's a lot of bad info out there on the internet about 409s and 409 cars. I've been into it since 1981. That's when I bought this 409 63 convertible. 409 340 horse 4-speed in it. Sadly, I have let it sit since 1991. Did get it running a few years ago. There's actually a video I posted on YouTube about it. But what I want to show you guys is how to tell a real 409 car from a fake, or at least tell you what should be correct. This all started over the weekend. I was looking at 409 cars online, not looking to buy or anything, just reading various articles and stories and looking at cars for sale. And this isn't the first time I've seen this, but a guy had a 409 63, claimed it was an original 409 car, original sheet metal, yet the emblem placement was like that. The 409 emblem was a good half-inch above the flags. That is not how it's supposed to be. The 409 should be just a hair above the flags. I'm going to do a demonstration here. It's just a normal index card. If you slide it in between the flag and the 409, it should be a pretty tight fit that the card does not come out. If the card comes out, the emblem's not in the right place. Now, I could see having it just, a hair higher than it is. Not like that. Now, this is where it gets placed on a 63 Impala. If it's a Biscayne or a Bel Air, it actually goes on the front fender up here, and the 409 emblem would be under the flags, as they are on all 62s. Once again, should be just a hair below the bottom of the V. The 409 emblem should not be down here. So that's one giveaway. The rest of it's under the hood, although it would be nice if you had the original, they call it broadcast sheet. Most people know it as the build sheet. These can be found sometimes, but not always, in the car, buried somewhere. This one from this car was, I believe it was in the bottom or the top of the back seat. Don't remember which. Against the springs, you can see the spring marks. Oftentimes these are disintegrated. I lucked out. Now, the bottom line, there's an engine code. And mine is QC, which is the same ID they use on the blocks. QC identifies it as a 409 340. You also had your QAs and your QBs for the high performance motors. Also of interest, on my car, I was able to narrow it down to the dealer 155. I was able to find some info online that broke down these numbers, and mine turns out was originally shipped new to Harvey Dorweiler Chevrolet in El Monte, California. And despite being a California car, somebody did some bad body work and bondoed it up. By the way, I did not paint the car this color. This is how it came. It was originally the maroon color. I wish they just left the shot original paint on it, but nothing I can do about that now. Okay, and mine does have a matching numbers block. The block number matches the VIN number, and once again confirmed as a 409 340 per the build sheet. Now let's look at some stuff under the hood. I had a guy come out to buy a carb from me a few years ago, and he had told me, he was honest, he said he had a 409 convertible. It wasn't real, but it was 100% correct. You could not tell that it wasn't real. I asked him, did it have the fuel return line, which we'll get to, and he said yes. I asked him, did it have the ballast resistor on the firewall, and he was like, what? Well, I can't talk for 62s or 1s, but 63, 4 and 5 had a ballast resistor on the firewall. I think you can kind of see it here. And that's only on 409 cars. Gotta have it. The other thing you gotta have, okay, now, oh, here, maybe we can see it better. Where is it? There. There's the ballast resistor. Anyway, this car currently has the wrong carb on it. Got an AFB. It should have a Rochester 4Jet, which I'll show you in a minute. Got a real bogus fuel filter set up, just temporarily, that we threw on when we were getting the car running. But this line here, see it there? It's called the fuel return line. Comes from the gas tank, curves around, goes into a fuel filter, which I'll show you. And it's supposed to prevent vapor locking. 63, 4 and 5, 409s have that. 62s didn't. So if you got a 63, 4 or 5 and it doesn't have that, something's wrong. And I think they repro them. Okay, so we've covered the ballast resistor and the fuel return line. Let's talk about fan shrouds. Since the 409 was a longer motor than a 327 or a 283, they actually had a shorter fan shroud. And let's measure this. About 4.5 inches deep. Small blocks came out another 1.5 inches, 2 inches maybe. Got to have the shorter fan shroud. Now, some people just cut them down and they're all jaggedy ass, and that's a tip off right there that something's not right. So I think we've covered everything under the hood. Just a quick note. The dipstick on 409s comes up here. I know it's different on a 348. I think a 348 actually comes out of the block or the head, maybe on the other side. I'll have to do some more research on that. So I think we've covered everything under the hood. Here's what your fuel filter should look like on a 63, 4, or 5, regardless of what motor. Line in, line out, and return line. Okay, I think we've covered everything there is to cover on a real 409 car. Now let's go out to my backyard and look at a bogus 409 car. And excuse my messy house here as we walk out. And excuse my messy backyard and patio. Okay, here's a bogus 409, and I bought it just like this, and not trying to fool anybody. I bought it for the dual quad motor. The carbs are off of it right now, or at least one of them is. But here's a look at the 64 emblem. I'd say they did a real good job on that. The emblem, the 409, is right on the flags, just as it should be. But wait, did they do on this side? It's up a little too high, and it's over too far. Okay. Now you can't really tell with all the cobwebs and stuff, but there is no ballast resistor in the wiring because this was originally a 327 car. Had a 409 put in the late 70s is the story that I got when I bought this car. So it does not have the ballast resistor, doesn't have any fuel line, and it's got a cut down shroud. Kind of hard to tell. They did a pretty good job of it, but it's been cut, some jagged edges, not consistent, and not correct. Not that anyone was pawning it off as being correct. They just had to do that to make it fit. So anyway, that's it for now. Hopefully you guys like this. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you think I'm credible. Been into this since '81. Have had a few 409 cars. Sold a lot, bought and sold a lot of 409 parts. And if you like this, I'm hoping you'll hit the like button. I'd like to do some more videos on carbs, exhaust manifolds, air cleaners, other 409 related stuff. So hopefully you'll subscribe, and see you then.